Like this bee, I've been pretty busy this summer with a newborn baby, a toddler, and then four older kids. I feel like the summer hasn't been the relaxing, reading books outside on a hammock kind of summer that I remember that I had growing up. And I mean, that makes sense. I'm a mom now, but I think that the summers just have been getting busier and busier. I feel like as a homeschooling mom and a stay-at-home mom, I feel like a lot of times the summer over the last couple of years has been almost like this downtime, but it's really used as preparation for the upcoming year. And it hasn't been, I don't know, it just hasn't felt like, wow, we have these days that we can just do whatever we want with, which I don't know, I just kind of have that expectation from childhood. So maybe I just need to get over it. But anyways, it's been super busy this last week. We were doing some painting projects and I don't know, just had a lot going on. So it was a Saturday morning. We didn't have any plans, so we thought we'd get up and head over to the pool, which we haven't been nearly as much as I'd hoped to. So we went to the pool, and then also our neighborhood this Saturday did something called pre-cycle, so like P-R-E, pre-cycle. And what it is basically people in the neighborhood put things out at the curb that they no longer need or want. And so while I was strolling around with my cup of coffee and my toddler this morning, just kind of enjoying the morning and seeing what was out and available, we found this cute little water bottle. We have a different water bottle for her that is great, but it's actually kind of heavy for her when it's full, so I think this is a little more petite and probably more appropriate for her small stature. So I'm giving it a good scrubbing with some warm soapy water and then getting it ready for her. And she was like almost inordinately delighted. It's one of the wonderful things about having a 2-year-old is how easily pleased they are. They kind of remind you and wake up in you kind of like the joy in the little things. And that's one of the blessings of having children. And it's been one of the things that I've really appreciated with having a wide age range of children, because you have teenagers and some going to college in a couple weeks, and one in high school and one in middle school and one in late elementary school. And as the kids get older, they have their own unique, wonderful things and the phases that they're in. But it's nice to have like little kids and babies around to kind of wake up that joy in the little things for them too. And it's fun to watch them kind of, I don't know, enjoying their younger siblings and being silly and sweet with them and thoughtful, and just taking pleasure in watching the little ones discover new things for the first time. So it was a really fun thing to do pre-cycle. We also found this adorable purse that's like the most glittery, iridescent rainbow cat and puppy purse that we found for our toddler too, which she's been carrying around on her shoulder. She put her chapsticks in it and she's been carrying it around on her shoulder. So that was something we found. I also found a pair of khaki pants and what else? And a bathing suit for also our toddler. So I got that in the wash, and then she was delighted to wear it. Actually, she wore it today. She played out in the sprinkler. So after going to the pool, we ended up not leaving until after 3 o'clock, and we figured it was probably not a great idea to try to put our toddler down for a nap, because by the time we'd gotten home and had a meal, we snacked at the pool, but we didn't really have anything substantial. So we got home and kind of had some lunch. She and I shared some lasagna, and then we also had some protein cookies. We decided we would just keep her up, which is not something that I don't think we've ever actually done before with her. So she did really well. She got, a little bit emotional and fussy because she was tired towards the end of the day, but we just tried to, get outside and keep moving. And then our daughter, our oldest daughter, she's been working a lot this summer too. She also is like the busy honeybee. She's getting ready to leave for college, and she's paying her way through college. I'm super proud of her. But this summer she's been doing some waitressing, and so her schedule doesn't always line up with when the little kids are asleep or when the little kids are awake. So she always enjoys seeing her younger siblings and then filling us in on all the crazy happenings at the restaurant. All sorts of people come into restaurants, so she's coming into contact with a lot of humanity and sometimes comes home with some humorous anecdotes. And fortunately, this time she also came home with some food for me. So this is like a yellow rice with grilled chicken breast and some cucumber and feta and then some pita. So she thought that she was going to really enjoy it, and it didn't end up being her cup of tea. She's not always the biggest fan of chicken, but she was giving it the old college try, and she decided she didn't like it. So I had some, but I was still hungry afterwards, and I'm working on trying to move towards incorporating more protein into my daily diet. And I know whey protein probably isn't like, it's definitely not a whole food source of protein, so it's probably not the healthiest. This one has sucralose in it. We get this one at Costco, but it tastes pretty good. So I'm combining it with whole milk and some ice and blending it up to kind of make it into a ice cold kind of chocolate milk. You know how being out in the heat, sometimes it's sneaky, like you get dehydrated and you don't really realize it at the time. So at the pool, I did, have some things to drink, but I think between like breastfeeding and sweating a lot and then going on some walks earlier in the day, I felt like I just couldn't slake my thirst. So I felt like after the pool, I was just like drinking things all day. And so the protein shake was another liquid thing that I could consume, but also contained protein. And then we ended up watching the new Jurassic Park movie, which was not very good, unfortunately. I liked the first Jurassic Park movie, like the original, and then I liked the first Jurassic World, and all the rest have been not so great, but this one was extra not so great. But anyways, we got a toddler down for bed early, and then we finally got everyone else to bed, so I came upstairs and showered and climbed into bed with a good book. This is one I've never read before. I think it won the Pulitzer Prize in about 1948 or 1949. It's called The Travels of Jamie McPheeters. It's almost like a mix of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Last of the Mohicans. So it's like told primarily from the perspective of a 14-year-old boy who's incredibly smart and quick on his feet and got like a very wonderful satirical sense of humor, but there is some violence, so if you are sensitive to that, I don't know that I could recommend it to you, but I do enjoy reading at least for a few minutes every night before bed. I feel like it kind of distracts me enough to calm down and go to sleep. So I was up with the baby a few times in the night. That's why I'm looking extremely well rested the next morning. I've got my hair all crazy and my glasses on, but I thought first things first, let's make some coffee. So I've started adding these collagen peptides to my coffee a few times a day. So 4 tablespoons is the serving size. That gets you 18 grams of protein. And so I normally do like 2 heaped spoonfuls a few times a day, and I figured that's probably getting me somewhere in the neighborhood of the 4 tablespoons. And then I'm giving it a good stir, and then I'm adding a little bit of whole milk and a little bit of cream. And then I also ate some protein cookies. I just found a recipe online. I think it's from Big Man's World. It's 4-ingredient protein cookie. It's peanut butter, eggs, vanilla protein powder, and then brown sugar. The recipe calls for a brown sugar substitute, but I don't have one of those, so I just used regular brown sugar. So my recipe has, the way that I made the recipe, that is, has more sugar than what the original calls for. But according to the recipe, there's about 20 grams of protein per cookie. So basically, I'm going to have muscles just, popping right out. So I ate that. I was drinking my coffee, and then I thought that I would make some waffles and bacon for everyone else. They were still kind of slowly waking up, and the baby went back to sleep. So I thought I would make some breakfast. I always love the idea of having a bigger breakfast on the weekends, particularly on Sundays, because I want Sundays to be kind of a special day. We're Christians, and I want our Sabbath to be a little bit, set apart. And so I don't always do this, but I enjoy when it works out. So I'm using a gluten-free pancake mix. It's the mochi pancake and waffle mix. I got this at Costco, and it is delicious. Everyone in the whole family likes it, which is rare. So in addition to the mix, you just add a little bit of oil. So I'm using avocado oil and then eggs and milk. You give it a good mix, and then that's it. You can either make pancakes with it or waffles, and it's delicious. The first ingredient in this mix is rice flour, and the second ingredient is sugar. So you don't really need to add syrup. We sometimes do still, but you don't need to. They're already sweet, but they have a really interesting texture being made from rice flour. They're kind of almost, I don't know how to describe it. They have a very, very smooth texture, and it's like light, but it almost texture is almost creamy. I don't know how to describe it, but maybe some of you have tried it and you can provide me with a better adjective to use. And then I love just using a measuring cup to scoop out batter. I feel like that's such a handy way to do it, rather than trying to like lift the bowl up and tilt it on its side and then use a spatula to scrape it in. And then I have bacon in the oven. I just do a whole pound at a time. I put it on a half sheet pan. I line it with parchment and stick it in the oven at 350. I remember that my great Granny Brown in Florida, when we would go visit her, she would always cook bacon that way. And now that we have a big family, there's no sense in making just a few pieces of bacon in a skillet on the stove top. First of all, I always get distracted and I burn it. Second of all, our family goes through like the whole package of bacon pretty quickly, so I might as well just go ahead and do that whole thing at once. So we went to church, and then we came home and I changed, and we got our little toddler down for her nap after having some lunch. And then I thought I better see to watering those plants out on the front porch. It's been in the mid 90s, low 90s here, and I hadn't watered in a few days. Normally the weekends are a good time to do some watering. I think that if you choose one day to water, make it Saturday or Sunday, because that just kind of folds into your different, weekend rhythms and helps you remember when to water. Because I have had the problem of overwatering. I've hurt some of my orchids that way because I wouldn't pay attention to when I was watering, and I overwatered them, and the leaves started to produce this sticky sap, which then attracted ants. So don't do that. Just water on Saturdays. So anyways, my mom and I had started painting the two vanities that we have upstairs. This is our kids' bathroom right here. And then we also have a vanity in our bathroom. And I've liked this vanity for the most part. We've had it for about 3 years. And my main complaint is that it seems like it almost came only primed, like it was supposed to come painted white. But you could see even like I think this was maybe made with pine, and you could even see like the knot holes through. So we coated it with primer first, and then we did one coat with a cabinet and trim paint. The paint color that I'm using is called Pure White by Sherwin-Williams, but I actually bought this paint at Creative Paint, so it's actually Benjamin Moore, so they can match paint colors from other places. And so I got it's the cabinet paint, and apparently I've had this paint since 2022. I don't know what I used it on, but I haven't used it in a while. I have used cabinet paint in a different color recently on a dresser in our toddler's room, and I feel like it's really easy to wipe and it's holding up well. So I'm hoping that this will kind of encapsulate the vanity and protect it and help it to do really well in the humid and moist environment of our bathroom, because people are frequently showering in here. Right now we're down to one shower because the shower in my husband and my bathroom is leaking through the ceiling down to our first floor. So like our bathroom is upstairs and it's leaking through the downstairs ceiling near our front door. So we're trying to figure out what in the world to do for that. We've tried various things, like we taped up plastic around the interior of the shower and then showered with that, and it didn't leak. And then we tried other things, like he replaced the caulk, and then it seemed for a while that it wasn't leaking, and then all of a sudden it started leaking pretty heavily again. So we put a pause on that because that's when our baby came, and we thought we'll investigate that later. So I think the first step is to, my husband was suggesting that we go ahead and just put plastic over the caulk and tape that off, and then start showering in it and see if we get any leaks, which we'll see.
Oh, you're primed for a sandwich attack right there in the middle. Sandwich attack. Good throw. Hey, not too rough. Stop, reset.
Yeah, good.
Reset. Guess you're not even touching the wall again. Bounce it high up over their heads.
That did not kind of.
I always love when my husband and boys are playing with our daughter. They're just really sweet and cute, and I always want to remember it. I know that when I'm older, I'm gonna look back on these sometimes chaotic feeling days and miss them, and I don't want to miss them in the moment. So after that, we went on another walk. We went down to the river. We're trying out with the baby in the double stroller. She liked it for about a minute, and then we switched her back to the wrap. Anyways, thanks for joining me for this relaxing weekend. I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again.